It is workflow day at Sane and Simple Podcasting, and my goal is to help you get your podcast out into the world, into ears and possibly eyes if you do video, of the people you want to consume it, to use it, to make their lives better. So we want to do that as quick as possible so you can move on with literally anything else, including, being involved with or making deeper connections with the people that you are going to, connect with. My vocabulary might not be varied today because it is a Monday, and clearly I need more coffee, but my ideas on what is in a podcast workflow, what can be in a podcast workflow, and how flexible a podcast workflow needs to be are very, very, very set and very wide. And so I want to share those with you today. So I want to give you a sampling. I want to give you a sampling of what you need to do. One sec. Getting my microphone closer. What you need to do or what you can do for your podcast, because the workflow isn't just, I know this is going to break some people's hearts, it's not just record, edit, publish. That's what you think it is, and that's what you start as, and then you're trying to, most likely will be like, wait, why is this taking so long? Those three things should be pretty quick, especially the publishing part should be very, very quick, right? However, there are so many more things that you can do in your workflow, and that's really what I want to share with you today. Let's get to this. All right, so I have a sample workflow that I'm not going to show you because, to be quite honest with you, spreadsheets show up terrible on video, and I'm sick of doing that. It's awful. So I'm just going to read off some of the things, and I'll expand on them as I go. So I am looking at a spreadsheet from the last season of Sane and Simple Podcasting, which was at the time called Podcast to Connect. It was a wonderful season with April from Door Key Podcast. And I have, I have columns. I have the episodes, like in a row. And then I have columns showing what task I do. And let me count how many tasks I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 tasks. So you can see already that's more than record, edit, publish. And some people go record to publish. Look, the thing is, if record, edit, publish works for you, then feel free to. But if you want to grow your podcast, if you want to improve your podcast, consider some of these. Now, I break my tasks into very, very distinct small things that I have to check off that I don't want to forget. Usually those come from situations where I have forgotten them and it's been bad. And I've been like, I don't really want to ever forget that again. And it goes into the worksheet. Okay, so I'm just going to read them to you. The things that I put on my worksheet are things like the theme of the episode and or the person who, if you have a guest on it, has it been recorded? That's a checkbox. Did I download the music? That's a checkbox. Did I create the thumbnail for the static video? That's a checkbox. Did I edit the video? Checkbox. Did I upload the video to YouTube? Checkbox. YouTube link, not a checkbox. That's the actual link. Did I add tags to YouTube, end screens, create YouTube short, thumbnail for YouTube? I have thumbnail twice, clearly. And YouTube short link. I no longer keep the YouTube short links because I'm creating too many of them. And did I connect it to the main video? So those are all of the YouTube first. So this particular season was very video heavy because we were showing a lot of things that we were changing with April's podcast. So because of that, it was video first. And so I put the video tasks, you guessed it, first. So then after all of those items, and a lot of them are checkbox because I just want to make sure I did them. I've been doing this long enough where I know the things I need to do within the tasks, so I don't leave a lot of notes for myself unless I'm stopping at a particular point and I need to remember, start here when I continue on with the workflow. So a lot of them are just, it's done. And then the audio, I have a newsletter link thing in there, cell in there, and then edit audio, create and then edit transcripts. Those could be 2. I put them into 1 because I do them at the same time because ooh, maybe it's my dyslexia, but I really don't like reading on a screen that much, but with transcripts, I do need to. So I tend to push through and just do them at once. So for me, that's 1 checkbox, but you could have it as 2. You could create the transcript one day, edit it the next day, and you could split it up into 2 or next session whenever you do it. So after transcripts, edit or upload to Buzzsprout, who's my podcast host. Links are below. Then I save the speaking track. This is a personalized one. I save the speaking track without any music, any other stuff. Like if there's 2 guests, I'll save each speaking track separately. It's just a backup thing that I personally do. You don't have to do this because once you mix it all together, you can't easily separate them out again. So I like to keep the tracks saved separately. And then finally, what's my last one? Delete session file. I know some people save their session files. Those are the files that are created when you're working in your DAW. The big, heavy files that can clog up your computer if you have too many of them. You can put them on an external hard drive. If you have big cloud storage somewhere, you can upload them there. I don't find that I go back and change any of my podcasts, mine or my clients, very often, if ever. So I don't keep them. I delete them. And I make sure that I delete them by having a section in my workflow. So I'm not only creating the podcast episode here, but I'm making sure that my workstation is in order. I'm making sure that the platforms that I put things on have all of the different elements they need, whether they be audio or video. Another thing that I don't have in this spreadsheet that I have in other ones are my sharing. Like right now, every time I do one of these videos, I put a version for that platform on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook and Instagram, and I also create a newsletter issue. So I've got 4 places to put them. So I would have 4 different columns. Again, just a checkbox. I know what to do when I get to those platforms, but I need to make sure that I remember, don't do this thing, do this, put it here, do that. So for me, it's a lot of checkboxes. So that's that thing. And I'm going to go against my own better judgment, but I'll show you the spreadsheet here, but I guarantee you probably won't be able to read it very well. But you can see that it goes here to here. And there's some stuff that's missing. There was an A/B test that I was going to do that I never ended up doing. So there's some notes in there. But you can see that. Oh, that was actually that one. Here, let me show you this one. This one should be more complete. And again, some things are filled out and some things aren't. This is a bonus episode, so I didn't need everything filled out. I highlight in color on things I need to come back to later. That's just something that I do. That's a different season down there. And this particular season, I need to update. It's just started. I have all kinds of trackers depending on the project. And you can see some really old trackers going back here when I didn't even have a label at the top to let me know what I was doing. So, I mean, it's evolved a lot over time. This one's pretty neat. And I tend to color code. This is video. This is the live stuff. This is LinkedIn. And then the audio should be over here to the right. Yeah, that's the audio. Here's Twitter. So I tend to color code a bit to let myself know, hey, I'm working on this section now. I'm working on this section now, that kind of thing. You don't have to do that. I just find for me, it helps me break up what I'm doing when. Again, if I leave and come back, if I'm within a particular section, I can get into a rhythm, finish that section, take a break, work on something else, come back to it, and it's pretty easy. So there's a lot of different things you can do with your workflow, right? And you certainly don't have to have a spreadsheet if you prefer a different way of doing this. There's so many ways to organize your podcast. The important thing is that you include everything you can that you do during your workflow so that you're not surprised by how much time you spend on it. There was a time period when I first started editing for clients that felt that I needed to get a little bit faster with my editing workflow. And so I actually timed myself for each of the episodes that I worked on. And I looked at what was taking the most time and what skills I could build up to do that faster. If you're finding that your podcast is taking too long, you can do something like that where you literally just create the information that you need and say, like, I'm working on, you know what? I think I'm going to go over this on editing day on Wednesday. Let's do that. I'll revisit this on Wednesday when I talk about podcast editing, because I think that's something that can speed up your workflow. And I don't want to mesh it too much together here because it is a different type of tracker. That's more of a speeding up tracker than it is this done? Is everything about my episode done tracker, which is what I just showed you today. So I hope this helps you if you're at the beginning of your podcast journey, figuring out what you might need to include in your own episode tracker to make sure that you get everything out there. If you're midway through your journey, maybe you want to refine or to like just really expand out more than what you're doing. You can tell I don't do a lot with episode specific artwork. Some people do. Trying to think of what else folks put on their workflow. There's so many different things you can do. Some people put their show notes in there. Some people I do put my titles in there. Yeah, so it's really, really customizable. The important thing is that it's in a way, it's in a form that you can easily come back to and leave and know exactly where you are, that it's arranged in a way where you can cruise through it instead of get stuck and go, now, what did I mean by this? What am I supposed to do here? I don't remember why I did that. And certainly don't create tasks for yourself if you don't need to keep information in the worksheet, in the whatever form you have. I'm going to say worksheet because that's what I use. If you don't need to keep it in the spreadsheet, don't do what I do and just have it be like a checkbox where it's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. So you know that part is complete. Again, the sooner you get your workflow down to a quick and easy process, and you know exactly what's coming next, and you know when the bottlenecks are coming, and you can get past them pretty quickly. You can get your episodes out there. People can hear the content, learn from you, and, connect, create community, do all kinds of things with the information, the stories, the experiences that you're sharing. So if you need help with your workflow, let me know. You could come on as a guest during a free 15-minute coaching session, or we can talk privately if you want some more one-on-one time with me. All right. Thank you so much. And I will see you tomorrow where we talk about ChatGPT.